Hey, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee and a Word. Thanks so much for joining us here on this lovely Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock. Hope you've grabbed your coffee and you're in a cozy and warm spot checking us out, watching us today. It's great to have you with us. My name is Calvin Schwarz. I'm the executive pastor here at Grace and kind of in charge of church and staff health. Also a licensed counselor and do that as well. One of my favorite things. So, hey, it is great to have you with us again. Hey, please let us know. Log in, say hey, let us know you're here, and tell us where you're watching from. Any interaction that you can have with us today, we so appreciate it. Appreciate my friends in the room, Gino, aka John Sandoval, and Haley Phillips over here. I got to tell you, I was a little disappointed because I figured with a big production like this, there was going to be time for hair and makeup to make me look wiser and thinner, but that didn't happen. So you get what you get today. We Coffee and a Word's been going on now for probably a couple months, and so we really hope to bring this your way every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, something that you can kind of count on for the week, something that gives you a little bridge between one Sunday to another. It's a little Wednesday check-in just to let us know that that we're thinking about you, that you are on our minds, that we're praying for you for the week. Do a little recap of and talking about some things, and just bringing a little word, a little bit of a devotion that we hope kind of hits home for you, and is something that is going to help boost your life, bring you closer to God, make you kind of more successful in the things you do. So that's always every Wednesday at 11 o'clock. So grateful that you're here. Let us know, kind of chime in. You can just let us know, again, where you might be watching from, what you're up to today. Also, even those things like if you have prayer requests, you can send those to us either here online, or you can go to our website and you can send those prayer requests to us that way if it's more of a sensitive nature. But we just want you to know that we are here for you, not only on the weekends, but throughout the week as well. And so let's talk about, I'll tell you a little bit why I love today, because part of it involves coffee, and I'm a super coffee snob. And so what I have in my little cup here today is some espresso with some steamed heavy cream. And I'm just kind of a pretty simple kind of a guy. My cup, I don't know if you can see this or see this online, but it's from a place in San Diego called Lofty Coffee. And it says, climb lofty hills, make lofty goals, drink lofty coffee. So a good message and good coffee. So, hey, that's something you can chime in with as well. Let me know what kind of coffee, what kind of tea, what are you joining us with here today? With one of the things, when we touch base, like we are in the middle of the week, and then we kind of do a short thought and a short recap, even about this past weekend. When I think about this past weekend, just from start to finish, the whole thing was so inspiring for me, from worship, from Carl's message, even to the way Sarah closed things out for the weekend. So think about that. If you were able to either watch us online or if you were here in person over the weekend, what was something that was really inspiring to you? What was something that God, that you took away, the nugget that you took away from the weekend that you might still be chewing on here, several days later? You can kind of type those in the chat. Let us know where God met you this weekend. I think one of the things that was so inspiring and that reminder, when Carl was talking about his illustration about the guy with the red paperclip, and he used that red paperclip to keep upgrading and trading in, and he ended up with a house. I think the way he arrived at that house was because he brought the very first thing that he had, right? And that's kind of what Carl is telling us, and Sarah reminded us of in the closer. You don't have to be super full of wisdom. You don't have to be a believer that's been in 30 Bible studies to bring what you have for God to use that. So many stories of people that I know, people that are on staff, that started out with simple things, and God turned those into something amazing. You want a biblical example? What about the disciples who had the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, right? They brought that. That was what they had. Look how God multiplied that. Look how God upgraded that to feed 5,000. So there's that reminder of us to say, bring him what you have and look what he can do with that. When I started out just going to Grace Community Church, probably, I don't know if it's 25 years ago now, maybe, when I was just an attender. I've been here on staff 21 years now. And I think about what did I have back then when I started volunteering? Well, I could be nice. I could care for people. That's what I brought. And to see and to know what God did with those things over a 21-year span of getting involved in small areas of service here at Grace, whether it was ushering and greeting, taking care of people and doing hospital visits, to congregational care, to now being a counselor. All those things, they kind of line up. This is what I brought. I could care for people. I could have compassion. I could be nice, right? And those are those things that God can do in you. Whatever you can bring to him, God is going to use that. He's going to magnify that. And before you know it, the service and the way that you're able to bless others by what you bring is it's going to be pretty amazing. So that's just a little bit of my story. That's kind of what I was thinking about for the weekend. So let me know, what questions do you have? Let me know kind of, again, what was it from the weekend that you took away? How can we encourage you here at Grace? If you were thinking, hey, this is something that happened, but I need some more encouragement in this area, that's what we're here for. We want to help you bring out those gifts and those things that God has for you. So we're really looking forward to that. So yeah, let us know you're here. Say hi. Type in the chat. We'd love to hear from you during our time here today. Also, just know that anytime during today, again, you can send in those prayer requests. We want to care for you in that way. You can post those online. You can also send those on our website. Again, if it's at more of that sensitive nature, let us know where we can help, where we can care and encourage and take care of you. I'll share a little as we kind of move through our time today. And as you're thinking about the weekend, the little word, the thing that I have for you today, I want to just talk to you about something that I think it's hard. It's not the most popular thing, especially sometimes for those of us who follow Christ, and that is the idea, and that is the ability to set boundaries in our lives. And I think sometimes we think that boundaries are bad. We think that if we set boundaries, if we set limits in life, that we are bad Christians if we do those things. But we know that Jesus set boundaries, right? We know that he was fully and he was only good. We know that there's nothing but good in him. There's no darkness in Jesus. So he set a boundary there. He sets boundaries with sin. He allows for consequences in our life. We know that when Jesus needed rest, he stole away. He took that rest. He set a boundary to say, even though he was fully God and fully man, he's like, I could be running down here. I've got to get away. I've got to set some boundaries. And that's something that happens in our life. We want to make sure that we can kind of do the marathon thing so that we set boundaries for the long haul and so that we don't overextend ourselves and burn out. And I think one of the reasons we fail or we are really hesitant on setting those boundaries is because, again, we think, I'm going to be a bad person for doing this. And we know that if we set boundaries, it has this direct effect on someone else. And it might cause an inconvenience for someone else. And so then when they let us know about that inconvenience, we feel guilty and we feel like I should have never ventured out. I should have never set a boundary. And but I just want to encourage you that setting boundaries is a healthy thing for the long haul of our lives, for the long haul of where we want to serve and all those things that just bring us health. I would never consider myself a person to ever be quoted or have a quote or a tagline or something like this. But I want to share this with you today. This is the first time anybody's ever heard this outside of my own head, but this is an official quote from Calvin Schwarz, and this is what it says: that we all think boundaries are our friend until we have to show up in public with them. Okay? We all think boundaries are our friend until we have to show up in public with them. That means we think we've got them. We think we can set them until we're actually put in that spot, in that position to do it. And then it becomes a little bit different story. But I just want to encourage you to set those boundaries, to find those limitations, and to remind you, you and I are the ones who are in control of those boundaries. I appreciate how Dr. Henry Cloud puts it when he gives the example. And he kind of talks about boundaries, and he equates it to like property. And he says that we are in control of our property. We can let people in, but they don't get to come in and decide what color to paint our living room, right? That's going too far. That's letting them go way past what a normal healthy boundary would be. So if you've been with us so far, hey, chime in, say hi, let us know kind of what you're thinking, kind of how this is maybe hitting you, kind of even where, hey, I could use some prayer in some boundaries in this area of my life. I could use a little bit of encouragement in this area, or some growth in these boundaries, because we're here. Believe me, all of us have had to learn the lesson of being overextended to the point where boundaries became almost, we almost had to set them out of an emergency. But if we can be proactive in doing that, then we're not going to reach the point where we may have something that happens in our life where when we don't set boundaries and we are just super givers, we take no time for ourselves, that we can get to a point where our generosity without boundaries can actually become a breeding ground for resentment. And that's why I say we have control of those boundaries in our life. We can stop ourselves from reaching resentment. Sometimes that can happen in our job, and we can resent how much our job takes out of us. But where we can and where we can set boundaries, we're going to save ourselves from finding and getting to that resentment. So kind of want you to be thinking about those things a little bit. Again, hope you're with us. Hope you're having a great Wednesday. Hey, chime in. Let us know you're here. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what kind of coffee you've got alongside you. And then where can grace come alongside you? Where can we support you? Where can we pray for you? Where can we, either from the weekend, how can we help you find those areas to say yes in? Or how can we encourage you in those areas in your life, maybe where that you've got some overextension, you're feeling a little singed, you're feeling a little bit of burnout. So how can we help you gain some more balance in that area? How can we encourage you, I think, towards something that's a little bit of some might say it's a little bit of a buzzword. Maybe it's used and overused too much in these days. But that is, how can we help you establish and identify things that are self-care for yourself? All right? Things not only that are self-care, but things that are so healthy for you, right? And hey, thank you so much for checking in. Deb, good to see you, and I'm glad that you're listening for a few minutes. You got your black tea with you, always a good choice. Yana, hey, great to see you as well. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today. We hope that your week is going well, and there are just some timely things that God is doing in your life. So thanks so much, guys, for logging in and letting us know you're there and saying hi. We're praying. I want you to know that Grace is praying for you guys all the time. We know we're really aware of just kind of the crud that's going around in many forms, and so you guys are in our prayers, and we just want you to know that. So just want to go back to that self-care thing, which is a big part of a boundary, and just give you a little example, a little illustration. You might have heard this before, but there's a reason when you are on a flight and when the flight attendants are given the pre-flight instructions, they remind us, make sure that in case of an emergency, you put the mask on yourself first and then help the person next to you, right? That's not a selfish thing, because we're taking care of ourselves so that we can then in turn take care of others. And so I just want to encourage you and just say, hey, where is it in your life that might be something like, hey, I got to stop and put the mask on in this area. And again, I just want to encourage you that if you're thinking in any way that self-care is selfish, I want you to kind of turn that mindset around then and think of it as the more self-care that you are able to do in your life, not in a selfish way, not where it affects family time, not where it puts others at a detriment, but when you can do those areas of self-care, you're just doing that. It's a twofold thing. It helps you. It helps flow right through you, that self-care does, so that you can be so better equipped to take care of others. And that's kind of what we're about here at Grace, right? Love God, love others. And that's one of the ways that we can do that is boundaries, self-care, giving us time to be able to be a blessing to others. Again, just want to thank you guys for joining in, watching us. Again, if you're on here, just type in the chat, say hey, let us know that you're on here with us, just probably just a couple, other things that when you are doing those things for self-care, maybe it's going to grab coffee with someone, it's heading to the gym, it's going on a walk, it's getting out in nature. Some real simple things. Maybe it's finding someone that when you're with that someone, they don't need anything from you, right? You just can hang with that person. You can grab coffee with them. You guys are like-minded. And when you walk away, they haven't drained anything from you, but instead you guys have just had some mutual time where you've built each other up. There's been joy that's happening, but they aren't taking anything from you. And so they aren't just kind of like that quasi friend, that person that you have to minister to, but they really bring you joy in that. And Jan, I'm going to check out your comment here. Definitely hard to discern when to say no and how to define boundaries, like how much self-care is selfish, and if it's the right sacrifice, right to sacrifice your self-care time for someone in crisis. Yeah, that's the rub right there, isn't it, Yana? To try to find out that balance. And I think where we know maybe something along those lines is if we are always going to self-care, and maybe those people that are closest to us, that we kind of given permission to speak into our lives, and hopefully they're just kind of speaking the truth and love to us, like it's our spouse, it's a super close friend, and if they are the ones that might be kind of pointing out, gosh, you're sure doing this a lot and it's taking away from our time, or you just kind of seem unavailable. I mean, that might be a good measuring stick to kind of say, okay, is my self-care becoming selfish? Listen to those people that you trust the most and would want to tell you those things, like for your good, for your benefit, just to kind of say, okay, I've got to roll things back a little bit. And especially when we want to help someone in crisis, I think that this is true, especially for people who are just kind of natural born givers, that God has gifted us to be a giver, to be empathetic, to have compassion for people. We can really move to the unhealthy side of always being there, for someone in crisis. And so I think that we know that we can do as much as we can. And there's kind of a trust factor in our time where we know that we've got to trust God in what He's going to be doing as well. So hopefully that is helpful for you guys. Just want to, again, thank you guys for tuning in as we get ready to kind of close out our time with Coffee and a Word here. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for being kind to me, as this is my first time today. So thanks for your support. Thanks for your encouragement. And so, again, finding those areas, listening to that message from the weekend that's really, really inspiring. Finding those ways to kind of set boundaries. The book Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. Townsend, been around a long time, still very, very relevant. So if you can get your hands on that, check that thing out as well. And then just want to remind you of when our weekend services are, in case maybe you're joining in and you're a new watcher, kind of figuring out, hey, is Grace a place I want to go to? One, you can always watch us online, see what we're about at gracemontrose.org, or you can come to our services, and all those, whether it's online, whether it's in person. We have a service on Saturday night at 6 o'clock p.m., and then 2 services on Sunday morning, and those are at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. All those run exactly the same. We've got childcare that happens during all those services as well. So appreciate you guys checking in, appreciate your comments. And I'm just going to kind of close our time in prayer here this morning. So, Lord, we just know and we thank you for your goodness to us. Lord, would you help us to find the balance in our lives of where we say yes, how often we say yes, Lord, because we want to be used by you. We want to be a blessing to others. Lord, but we don't want to do it to where it's at our expense, and we get so burned out in such a short time that we never want to go back and minister or be a blessing to others. So Lord, show us that balance. Show us how to be sensitive to listening to you, where and who to help, and just kind of what length to go with them. And as we listen to you and as we're sensitive to you, and Lord, we just want to be great advocates for you. We want to draw others to your kingdom, Lord. To the Father by how we act and how we love people. So we ask that you help us in that. And we just pray all these things in Jesus' name. All right, guys, thanks. Bye-bye.